Okay, well, I'm in the Washington Scablands, and this is a really dramatic part of the Lake Missoula story. So the Lake Missoula, when the ice dam collapsed, flowed southwestward and ran into a separate glacial lake called Glacial Lake Columbia. Glacial Lake Missoula kept going through. It pounded into the water and flew out of the basin and began pouring outward. And as much as the landscape in Montana and Idaho were dramatically affected, the landscapes in the Scablands in particular are astonishing. Washington as a landscape was dramatically affected by what are called the Columbia flood basalts. And flood basalts are these amazing geologic events where the earth begins to spew forth the liquid magma across these giant vents that may be 50 miles or more long and just spread out from these cracks underneath the surface. And the number I read that just absolutely blows my mind is that from these flood basalts, there'll be as much as 10,000 square miles of landscape covered in lava in as little as a week. So it's just pouring out these liquid magma and just covering vast areas of Washington. And Lake Missoula interacted with this basalt in a really dramatic way because compared to a lot of the rock in Montana, this basalt comes apart fairly easily. And Lake Missoula had so much power to it that it just tore apart the landscape in eastern Washington, opening all these gigantic lakes and just creating all these obvious scars on the surface. And a lot of the fertile soil that used to exist here was completely stripped away and moved to Oregon. It really is just such a dramatic scene. The Scablands are a place where the fury of the Lake Missoula floods can be profoundly felt. Everywhere you look, you see the earth turn scarred. A broken, battered land, appearing diseased from its plight. The chaotic brutality of the floods come to life from the sky. Columns of lava worn away to nothingness. Walking through the destruction of the Scablands, one can't help but wonder what came before. In places spared by the flood's wrath, you find a different world, rolling fertile hills free of the devastation. From a verdant domain to something very, very different. The canyon at Palouse Falls is a dramatic example of the flood's earth-shattering power. A landscape sundered apart by raging water. This canyon tells much more than the river running through it. A place of dramatic wonder. You know, I've got to say, it is just so spectacularly amazing being out here. You're so used to seeing some of these canyons and thinking the relationship between the stream body or the river body and what constructed the canyon. Over here, it's very different. This is almost a comical mismatch. There's this relatively tiny creek going through this vast, vast chasm. And this is just the most blatant, the most in-your-face outcome of the Lake Missoula floods, just showing off their power at just such a grandiose scale. It's really incredible just imagining the vast muddy walls of water flying through this place and listening to the falls, but knowing just how little this particular river system had to do with constructing what you see out here, and knowing that there was just this vast epic force in the wading that just came down this gorge over and over and over again, 15,000 to 13,000 years ago. Just such an amazing experience to be here. Until the next time we explore these floods together, wander in wonder.